What if you just do it? Maybe the better question to ask is, what happens if you don't do it? Do you stay the same, or does your life get worse? Or maybe staying the same is the thing that is actually worse. Because if you stayed the same and you didn't get better, you didn't grow that business, you didn't try to grow yourself, you didn't get better, and you didn't try to pursue the life that you had always dreamed of, maybe that's the thing that's actually worse than failure. Because I would have never moved 2,600 miles away across the country and left everything behind. I would have never quit my jobs and started making money online 4 years ago. I would have never built a 25K a month online business. I would have never explored a tropical beach on a Friday afternoon with my friends like I just got back from doing. I would have never done any of those things, and there's so many more incredible things that I am going to do, that you are going to do, and we just have to do them. But we're so afraid of what happens if. What happens if I fail? What happens if it doesn't work? What happens if I don't make it? So what? Who actually cares? It doesn't matter. What happens if you fail? You start again. What happens if you go bankrupt? Well, if you're in America, there's programs for that, and you won't be in a horrible position. So when the downside is so low, the downside of failure and everything going wrong and nothing working is a baseline. You're not going negative, you're going baseline. Like, the worst thing that can happen is you go to zero. You get in debt, you declare bankruptcy, you go to zero. Unless it's student loans, and don't even get me started on college and stuff. But you go to zero. So when you're negative, when your downside is zero, and you're positive, your upside is limitless, is unlimited. You have unlimited upside, and you have a baseline zero downside. Why are you not doing it? Why are you not starting the business that you want to start? Why are you not learning how to make money online? Why are you not monetizing the skill that you already have, that you want to be able to help people and change other people's lives and share all of your knowledge and skills and expertise and get people into the same interests that you are and get into better shape yourself and get the incredible relationships and network that you want and friends that you want? And why are you not doing these things? Because what do you have to lose? You literally have nothing to lose. You fall back to zero and you start again. But the upside is limitless. But people are so afraid of the zero that they will ruin all chances of them being able to explore that unlimited potential and that unlimited capabilities that we have as humans, as God has designed us to be. We're not like animals where we unfortunately eat, reproduce, and die. We have more to us. We have a soul. We have consciousness. We have something that makes us uniquely human. But so many of us are living our lives as animals. Eat, reproduce, and die. And we never actually explore the unlimited upside potential that we all have, but we keep hovering around that zero baseline mark because we are so afraid of the ground. It's like jumping off of this desk. Is probably about 3.5 feet tall. And that would be like me being scared of getting on top of this desk and jumping off this desk because I'm afraid that I'm going to fall farther than 3 feet. It doesn't make any sense. But so many of us are living our lives this way. And so many people, you hear people say, and in the news and the media and all that stuff, people are afraid to die, man. But we live in a state of hovering around that zero, of being in a state of perpetual fear. And you hear so many people say that they are afraid to die, or they might not say it, but you might understand that by their actions, right? They're afraid to do extreme things. They're afraid to try to build that business and make money how they want to instead of just working the job that they hate, because they're afraid to die, because they're afraid that if this goes south and I don't make money, I don't eat, and I die. That's really what they're afraid of. But in reality, or that's what they're telling themselves that they're afraid of. But in reality, they're actually afraid of living. Most people are not afraid of dying, they're afraid of living. When I came to that conclusion, that hit me so freaking hard. I can't even understand, I can't even explain how hard that hit me. It felt like someone hit me in the head with a brick. I was not afraid to die. I was afraid to live. Even just saying that right now, I'm getting chills. It's crazy. Why are we afraid to live? Why are we afraid to go experience the best that life has for us? Because we're afraid that we're going to fall back to zero? So what? You bounce back and you keep going up. There's no negative. There's literally no downside. There's no worse that it can get. And if you do die, then it's all over anyways, and you don't have to worry about it. So, at least in this life, you don't have to worry about it. So why are you afraid to live? And so back to the original question. What if you just do it? What if you decided to do it? Not to just do a little thing, not to just go an extra day to the gym to get a little bit bigger, not to just start eating a certain way to get a little bit healthier, not just starting a side hustle to make a few extra dollars, but what if you just did it? What if you just decided to go all in? What if you burn the boats? What if you burn the boats, you burn the bridges? What if you just did it? What happens then? With zero, with a base that you can fall back to and unlimited, limitless upside, what happens then? I'll tell you what happens then. Because somewhere between a few years ago and a few months ago, it's not a decision and it's not a mentality and a mindset that is built overnight. It slowly happens and it develops and you hit different stages. But over the last few months to the last few years, I have made that decision to consciously just live and stop being afraid of living and asking myself the question, what happens if I just do it? Even something as simple for me in my online business as not taking sales calls anymore, because I hate sales calls and they anyways, if you watch this channel, you know that I'm not a fan of sales calls. But even just something as simple as that for me, I made the decision to not do sales calls anymore because I didn't want to do them. And so I made that decision, and guess what? It's amazing. Literally signed a new client yesterday. And I made the conscious decision to do no sales calls. And guess what? I still got a client. And so it's not the end of the world. Like, people think that these things are going to make a huge difference. And once again, if you're in the business world, you will understand that. You will understand how making a decision with something like that, and I use that as an example. Hopefully most of you guys can relate. Some of you might not, but I use that as an example because as a business owner, something like that can be, you think it's going to be the end of the world and you're never going to get a new client ever again, or, you know, whatever that may be. And so we can make little changes like that are really small changes that feel like a really big change. We can completely change our lives. Like I said, I moved 2,600 miles away from everything across the country, and it's been a little over a week now, and I'm fine. So what if you just decided to do it? What if you decided to change everything? What if you decided to go all in and you have unlimited, limitless upside and you have basically no downside? What happens? Only good can come from it. Yeah, it's not going to be all good all the time. There's going to be ups and downs 100%, but you're always going to trend upwards. And guess what also happens when you live this way? You live in an abundant mindset instead of a scarcity mindset because you're not worried about tomorrow, because you're only focused on today and you're living in the present. If you want to go biblical on this, even if you don't acknowledge the Bible as divine scripture or divine words of God, that's fine. Just look at it from a historical context. It's totally fine. But if we look at that, even in Scripture, it does say there's something called the Lord's Prayer. And something that really stuck out with me in there is definitely more popular among the Catholics. I was raised Christian, and so I wasn't as familiar with it. But my pastor from back home about a month and a half ago went over the Lord's Prayer, and I thought it was really interesting. And one thing that stuck out to me was, give us this day our daily bread. And it's the fact of trusting and relying on God every day for the things that you need. And only that. And living in the present and not worrying about tomorrow. And so if you can do that, and you can build that mindset and that fortress that it builds in your mind, it becomes part of your personality. It becomes part of who you are. It makes you an attractive person because you live in abundance. You're not negative all the time. You're not worrying about tomorrow all the time. You're not stressed out and anxious all the time and losing hair and bad health problems because of all this stress and anxiety that literally turns out into physical things, physical ailments that really physically show up and are really bad for you. But when you live in this mindset of living in the present and living in today and doing what you can for today and not worrying about tomorrow and doing your best and doing everything that you can and deciding to actually change your life and deciding to actually do the things that you want to do and pursuing them and going all in and not half-assing it, guess what happens? You become an abundant, attractive person who loves life, is stress and anxiety free, and things just kind of work out. It's really weird how it works, but things just kind of work out, and they tend to keep getting better. So, back to the original question. What if you just do it? What if you decide to actually change your life? Not little things here and there, but actually made a major change for the better, decided to go all in, decided to completely pivot and change directions and do what you want to do. Because you are in control and you can do whatever you want. And if you do that, what if you became the person that you always wanted to be? And what if you lived the life that you always wanted to live, that you have in your mind, that you pictured for yourself, that you dreamed of? What if that all happened for you? And it can only happen for you if you decide to make this change and you decide to start living like this. And until you live that way and decide consciously to make that change, once again, it takes time, but until you live that, you will continuously be in a bad state, be in a scarcity mindset, and not live a good life. So, what if you just do it?